Latest football news, engaging debates,
and fascinating opinions.
Pitchside Talk on IO Radio.
Hello and welcome to Pitchside Talk here on IO Radio's Fridays at 5 p.m. I hope you're all having a good week. I think we certainly are for once here on the show. We've actually had quite a lot of positive news. This is actually a very positive show. No negativity whatsoever. Yes, you've heard that right. This is a non-negative show. It's now all about positive vibes. Which is something we've never done before. I'm George, your host this week. And, well, I'm joined by our co-host, as always, a very happy Ipswich Town fan. It is Dan. Dan, how are you doing? A very positive week, I think we can say. Very nice.
Yeah, it's been a breath of fresh air, I think. It looks like we're finally turning a corner. My hopes were a little bit dashed by the Marcus Evans statement yesterday, but we won't get into that.
Yes, we won't get into that. We'll reveal all as the show unravels itself. I couldn't think of the word there. I couldn't think. I could see the word. I was like, how do I say that word? I don't know. I'm in a brain fart as always. Well, what have we got coming on the show? Well, before I mention that, we've got the social medias, Twitter at Pitchside Talk, Instagram Talk_Pitch, YouTube and Mixcode at Pitchside Talk. If you want to listen back to any of our previous shows or see any additional content, yes, we do additional content, match previews, breaking news, yes. Breaking news. We've had a lot of that this week. Well, what have we got coming up? We're talking about Ipswich Town. We had some big breaking news from the club, which happened on Sunday evening at a very awkward time. Why can't they do this at a normal time? Ridiculous. And we've got games. We've had some games as well. And we're going to be talking about the Premier League. So yeah, been a very busy week in the football world.
Stay up to date with the latest footy news.
Pitchside Talk on IO Radio.
Hello and welcome back to Pitchside Talk here on IO Radio's Fridays at 5 p.m. with me, George and Dan. As always, now before we move on into the show, talking about Ipswich Town's big breaking news, I better mention on social media, Twitter at Pitchside Talk, Instagram Talk_Pitch, YouTube, Mixcode, both at Pitchside Talk. If you want to listen back to any of our previous shows or see any additional content, yes, we do some more content. We do breaking news stuff, so you might already know about this. And also match previews for every Premier League game and Ipswich Town game this season and the Champions League games, which is going to be up very soon. Well, earlier this week, I spoke to Dan about some big breaking news that happened at Ipswich Town on Sunday evening at, I want to say 9:19. I was in bed at this point. I know it sounds bad. I decided to go to bed early for once, and big breaking news happened, which I think caught all of us off guard. So here it is. But Ipswich Town tweeted out after 2.5 years, Paul Lambert and the club have parted companies by mutual consent. Yes, it has happened. The writing has been on the wall since November, but he is gone. Happy days, I think. I don't really know. I'm a bit still stunned, but Marcus Evans, he said that I would like to put on the record my sincere thanks to Paul and Stuart for their service to Ipswich Town over the last 2.5 years. I have enjoyed a healthy working relationship with Paul in our time together, and he has brought lots of positive aspects to the club. But it has, however, become clear after holding discussions over the last few days that the significant difference of opinion as to the order of immediate priorities, and we have agreed it is best to part companies. I would like to thank Paul and Stuart for into the best in the future. But he's gone. Paul Lambert, he managed 108 games at Ipswich Town, getting 35 wins, 26 draws, and 47 losses, a 32.7 win rate at Ipswich Town, 104 goals in the last 96 league matches. Dan, a pretty eventful time, I think we could say, at the club. Relegated to League One in his first bit of Ipswich Town when he came in October. First time they've been in League One since 1956. Given a new 5-year contract when there was pretty poor results going into the start of 2020. Finishing 11th for that season as well. There was a lot of fans calling for him to go, but he stuck. He stuck with it. You know, he called the fans to come together when he first came in. He brought them all together. And then slowly but surely, that relationship has absolutely disappeared. Recently calling fans who did the protest not real Ipswich Town fans. And finally, not meeting those expectations this season of trying to get Ipswich Town promoted, seeing a lot of anger in the fan base. But what do you think to this news? And, the writing has been on the wall since November here.
Yeah, it has, and yeah, I'm so happy about it. We've been wanting it for so long, and finally it's happened. And I was so surprised. I wasn't expecting. Well, I think us fans were expecting something to happen before the end of the season because of all the talk and stuff going on at the club at the moment. But I don't think anyone was expecting on a Sunday evening for them to announce it. So yeah, it was a massive surprise, and I think for most of us, it's a massive breath, like a massive relief, isn't it? We've been. I know the last few games have been good, but we've been watching such poor football for so long now. As you said, the first season in League One since 1956 started well, went downhill, and then a lot of fans were saying, Lambert out at the end of last season. I held out on that because I didn't really want to say it publicly, of course. But it got to a final straw, as you said, around November time. I think it was Hull and Charlton around that time that I started saying wanting Lambert out. And yeah, I think maybe it should have been done earlier, but I'm just massively pleased now that he's gone and we can actually move on from it. It's really good that the club are actually trying to make a change for once, which a lot of fans thought that we'd have him till the end of the season, but no, he's gone, and I still can't quite believe it. It's just great now.
I can tell you cannot quite believe it. I can't still believe it as well, because I think we sort of knew it was coming. I think recently we knew it was coming, but I don't think we expected it that early. But maybe we should have known from his his final line in his final press conference, "I'm off to go and have a beer." Maybe we known he was telling us all along, and we went, "You're going to be here. Don't worry about it." But, he's gone. Does it feel like you said that? Does it feel like the fans are now getting back their club? Because recent months, it has been very toxic. I think we can say on social media, because there's no fans currently in the stadiums at the moment, it has been very toxic between sort of the club and that. And Paul Lambert has been saying a lot about the club to international media, but can't speak to the local media. Local media calling him out, all this. But do you feel that the relief is here? Things are starting to turn around ever so slightly.
Yeah, they are, and yeah, it's such relief. And his tenure, it's been a shambles really, on and off the pitch. You said his record at the start of this, and I said to you before the show that I think he's got the second worst win percentage of any manager, and the worst was Paul Hurst, who had 13 or 14 games in charge and only had one win. So really, he's got the worst win percentage of any manager in our history. That is very poor. And off the pitch as well, as you said, he was able to talk to national media and basically slag off our club really live on Talk Sport. I know one of the presenters wasn't having any of it. One of them was his friend, but he went on and slagged off Marcus Evans, didn't he? And then he said that thing the other day about the club. His tenure was just a shambles. That's what I'm trying to say. It was just really poor. And I think it's light at the end of the tunnel, isn't it? I said before, it's been so long. We've been so long suffering. With terrible football, League One football. Fans were turning their backs on the club. As you said, it was getting really toxic, and I think the fact that fans weren't in the club saved his job for a bit longer. I think he would have gone anyway, but it saved his job for a little bit, because I think if fans were in the stadium, Marcus Evans would have really known what we thought. But as we're not in the stadium, it didn't really know what was happening. But yeah, light at the end of the tunnel, and with this potential takeover, it's all happening at once. And who thought a month ago that this would be happening? It's absolutely crazy how suddenly things are looking on the up for us.
Yeah, I hope they release this onto a catch-up service because I'm lost. Perfectly honest, it's a little bit like a
Yeah.
TV series or a soap drama. I need to catch up. I've missed out on a few episodes but yeah, she said there about Lambert. It has not been a great time here, but it felt like when he first came in, he came in over 2.5 years ago now. It felt like when he came in, it was a breath of fresh air. He brought everybody together, but that's just gone. And do you feel for him, this is a missed opportunity for him because he could have possibly saved them the championship? We don't know. We're not too sure. I think it's a bit of it's a yes and a no sort of answer. But last season, with everybody behind him, is this a big missed opportunity for him to get Ipswich back into that championship and this season as well?
Yeah, because I think with the squad we have, we should be fighting for promotion in League One. Well, I've said it all along. This squad is good enough, and the last 2 games I think have proved that. We've got some really good players in this squad, and with the right man, he can take us back to the championship. I think the first season he came in, we kind of writ off that season already. It was only 13 games in, I think, when Paul Hurst left, but we'd already written it off, and I think we gave him the benefit of the doubt. Then, we stuck by him, which as a fan base, we're so patient. We're super patient as a fan base. We give managers a chance, and we gave him a chance. Looking back at it now, he had long enough to keep us up. I know the squad was really poor at the time, but he had time to change it. I know he tried to bring some players in January, but it didn't quite work out for him. But I think the fact that the first season in League One, it started off so well. Everyone was in Lambert's corner, weren't they, at the start of that season in 2019, 2020. It was an amazing start, and at the end of that, finishing 11th, it was unacceptable, really, wasn't it? A club like us, I hate to say that, but a club like Ipswich, who have a really good squad, that should be fighting for promotion, down in 11th, it's just not good enough. And then you look at his record, and it's just so poor. So I think it is a bit of a missed opportunity, but his record at other clubs has been poor as well. The only really good club, the good time he had was at Norwich, wasn't it? I think he had a good time at Colchester before that as well. He's managed all these East Anglian clubs, but I think with Blackburn and Wolves and Stoke as well, his record was awful, and that carried on at us. So at the time I thought it was a good appointment because he's had experience. He'd got Norwich up the league, but I think that was just me being naive, looking at the record he had, and it all went wrong from there, and the fans went against him. But now he's gone, and we can move on, which is really good.
Yeah, that's really good to see. The club can now move on from what's happened. But looking back at Marcus Evans' statement here, he said there's a particular line I want to focus on here: a significant difference of opinion here. Is that down to what you said earlier about Lambert's comments? He said everything in the club structurally is wrong. He said it, and then he didn't want to say it anymore. A bit weird of him. He said that on national radio and local media. But do you feel that's what went wrong there? That comment there tipped Evans over the edge to pull that final straw? Because everything, I think we can sort of say on the pitch, Evans was supporting him. I think we could say that day in, day out. Evans supported him back in December and January when things looked very dire. But behind the scenes, do you think that was a different story here? Because he was saying comments like that, and I remember when he said that comment, I went, if you're going to say comments like that, you might as well, you're asking yourself to be sacked here. But do you feel that comment there and what was going on behind the scenes, was that final straw for Evans just to go, let's go, let's get you out?
Yeah, I think that could have been the final straw. It was really odd looking back at it now, them comments, when we've got this pending takeover coming. To say that the club's been run really poorly was really odd. So yeah, I think that's just him knowing that something's happening behind the scenes at the club and him having a dig at Marcus Evans. And I don't think Marcus Evans appreciated that. But I think that probably was the final straw. Maybe the other reason is maybe these American owners, which we'll probably talk about in a minute, but these American owners that look like they're going to be coming in. Maybe they want to change quicker than, maybe that was part of what they wanted. They wanted Paul Lambert out as soon as possible. They could have been involved. So, it does say mutual consent and, difference of opinions, I guess. But, maybe, I just think it's really odd because it seemed to me, throughout this season, Marcus Evans and Paul Lambert were all fine with where we were as a club. Mid-table League One, they seemed like that was where we should be as a club. So it's really odd. I think there's something more to it. It can't just be, Lambert said something in an interview and that changed Marcus Evans' mind. To me, there has to be something more to it. But I think that probably was a catalyst, part of it as a catalyst to pull the plug. But yeah, I think there has to be more to it, with the pending takeover and then the new manager coming in.
So Dan, Paul Lambert has gone 2.5 years at Ipswich Town. It is finally over. Paul Cook is now in. A highly rated manager, wanted by loads of championship clubs this season, but he's here now at Ipswich Town. What are your initial thoughts on him? He's got previous to getting clubs promoted with Chesterfield, Portsmouth and Wigan, and he's made them stable. We saw that with Wigan last season. Unfortunately, they got relegated due to administrative problems. But with him now being at Town, is promotion now well and truly on the cards here with him here?
Well, you'd like to think so, wouldn't you? That's what we hope for. But I think that the appointment of Paul Cook, I think it's a really smart appointment. Finally, the smart appointment from Marcus Evans. I think before, when we get new managers in, it's kind of like, yeah, they could do well, but it's not the best appointment. I think that was what it was like with Lambert. I think we were like, it's an all right appointment, but it's not anything like exciting. But I think with this one, it seems like a really good appointment from him. He's got past experience. He's got teams promoted in the past. When you listen to other teams' fans, they're saying that how good of a manager he is and how lucky we are to get him. And the fact that he was offered jobs by Cardiff and Sheffield Wednesday shows that championship clubs are after him. So I know Sheffield Wednesday aren't doing great at the moment, and at the time Cardiff weren't really getting anywhere. They were kind of mid-table, weren't they, before Mick joined? So yeah, I think it's a really, really good appointment, and I'm really happy that he's here. Let's hope he does well, because I think the confidence and it's definitely a happy time at the club again after a long time. Without it being, really, it's been so poor for so long. A change was needed, and it's happened. And let's hope he can get us up the table and up into the championship for next season. I'm not going to get my hopes up too much, but that's the aim, I think.
Yes, well, we'll have to wait and see with him, because he's taking his first game on charge tomorrow versus Gillingham, which is going to be kind of interesting because they do have a previous history between the clubs, quite recently.
They do, yeah.
Which is interesting. But when we come back, we're going to be talking about, the games that happened as well. We did actually have some Ipswich Town games. I know it's been a mad week that we've gotten Ipswich Town have even played. But it looks like things are taking a turn for the good this time.
Pitchside Talk on IO Radio.
Hello and welcome back to Pitchside Talk here on iRadio's Fridays at 5 p.m. with me, George, and Dan, as always. Wow. Before we move on into the Ipswich Town games that we had this week, yes, we had Ipswich Town games, despite having that big breaking news that Paul Lambert's gone and Paul Cook is now in, and we sound very happy because we're all positive on the show now. No negative whatsoever. That's
There'll be some soon.
Oh, there might be, but we're just going to stay positive for the time. Big social medias, Twitter at Pitchside Talk, Instagram talk_pitch, YouTube, Mixcloud, both at Pitchside Talk. If you want us back to any of our previous shows or even this one, don't worry. 6 p.m. on Friday, straight after the show, this will be out. And if you want to see any additional content, please do. We do match previews for every Premier League game, Champions League game, and Ipswich Town game this season. And if you want to see breaking news in that, go over there now to see other news bits that we do. Well, this week has been absolutely mad at Ipswich Town, behind the scenes with Paul Lambert going and Paul Cook coming in. But the two games did happen. Another Saturday and Tuesday affair. Firstly, a 2-1 victory over Doncaster on Saturday, which we're not going to go into too much about because it's all about Tuesday's game. Yes. So Tuesday versus Acton Stanley, Matt Gill, not Gill. He's Gill, isn't he? Oh, God.
It's fine.
Took charge. As the new manager, Paul Cook, watched in the stands and then in the 2-1 to Ipswich Town. 3 wins in a row. The last time that happened was last season when they beat MK Dons, Gillingham, Tranmere and Fleetwood, which was a run of 4, but that's the last time they've won actually 3 in a row. Dan, it looks like the side is turning a corner and they're doing it in front of their new boss at the right time here.
Yeah, a great win again against a team that were around us. They were above us at the time, weren't they? So, really good win. I think overall it wasn't the best performance I've seen, but going to Accrington, it's a tough place. You see how they play. They're quite a strong side. They dig in, don't they? So I think that it's a really good win. Obviously, we started off a bit edgy, conceded that early goal. Not the greatest goal to concede, really, was it?
No.
Could have been avoided. But then I think the penalty changed it. I did see that Accrington were trying to appeal for that red card, which I think is ridiculous because that's the most blatant red I've ever seen. But there you go. But after that, poor penalty from Norwood. But after that, we looked much better. We looked to the side on top. We were passing it around really well, and it looked really promising. Scoring them 2 goals before half time. Good for James Wilson as well, getting his first goal for the club. So yeah, going into half time with a 2-1 lead, that's really good. Obviously, second half, it wasn't a great second half, was it? No. We were defending quite a lot of the time, which I guess considering that Accrington were down to 10 men, could be seen as a little bit worrying that they were kind of dominating us quite a lot of it. We didn't really have much of the ball. We were on the back foot for most of it. We didn't really create any chances, except from that one at the end. But yeah, we held on, and it was a professional performance, wasn't it? I think Toto and Wilson, they put in a shift. They're looking really good at the moment. They're hardly conceding any goals, and they look really comfortable at the moment. And I think Wolfenden and McGuinness are looking at that thinking, Jesus, I'm going to be nowhere near it now. So yeah, it's really, really good to see that Wilson and Toto are doing really good at the back there. But I think overall, an okay performance, good spells in the first half, but a professional performance. We dug in and got the win, which I was absolutely buzzing about at the final whistle. So yeah, really pleased with it.
Yeah, another solid performance, I think we could say, by Town. But that slow start, they saw them go down 1-0 in the first 3 minutes. And I was watching, I thought, oh no, what have I done? I spent £10 for the first time since November. Am I about to just witness its Town lose? But since that, they showed a lot of determination. Under previous management, that would have probably never even happened. I think we can be perfectly honest here. But this has showed that the side is changing for the better here. They're fighting a bit more. I think usually when they were in previous sort of matches, they would go down 1-0 and it would just end 1-0. The team would absolutely dominate them. I think we've seen it in the past, and we saw it last season a little bit. But is it show that there's a little bit of evolution now? It's changing. This side is now full of confidence. If they go 1-0 down, that's fine. We're going to come back and get 2 goals against you. And perfectly honest, I think we could say they should have been up 4-1 by half time if they had a little bit better finishing on the night.
Yeah. Norwood's finishing wasn't the best, was it? And he said so on Twitter, didn't he? He scored the hardest chance he had. But yeah, I think the fact that the new manager was there, I think helped the squad as well. They needed to prove something to try and get the spot when the new manager takes. I think he takes training. He took training yesterday.
Yes.
So yeah, I think that definitely helped. But it's promising signs to see that we're digging in more because, as you said, under the previous management, don't want to say his name, but under the previous management, it wouldn't have happened. We go 1-0 down and nothing really changed under him. So yeah, it's really good to see, and I hope that's a sign for things to come because we need to. If we keep winning these games, then we're not far off, are we? We're 2 points off fourth, so anything can happen. And I really hope we continue on this form. And as you said, the players are going to be full of confidence now after these 3 wins against tough teams. So yeah, really good stuff. I just want to say about Matt Gill and Jimmy Walker and Brian Clew as well. They've done a fantastic job when they came in. If the rumours are true and they've taken over for the last 3 games, then what a job they've done because they've really turned it around and we're playing some good stuff. So credit to them. If we get in the playoffs this year, then we can't ignore that because they've really turned our season around really quickly. So yeah, credit to them, and let's hope this form continues.
Yeah, well, I think we do have to say big thanks to them, and I have heard that those guys are going to be staying in the Paul Cook sort of new coaching structure, which I think is good because we need. They've been a little bit overshadowed. I think Matt Gill, a lot of fans didn't like him, but he did a very honest interview on Tuesday, and a lot of fans liked him. That's something that's not been seen so much at Ipswich Town is honesty. We've not had honesty for, oh my God, 2.5 years, I think we can say, or for a little bit of time. Not 2.5 years, but you see what I mean.
It's been so long, hasn't it? And the fact he came out and said, he was honest and saying it was edgy and we didn't play our best football. That's all we want to hear from our manager. We don't want to play terrible, and then him to come out and say we're amazing. So yeah, it's a breath of fresh air to hear that, and I think they deserve some credit for what they've done.
Yes. So I was going to say again, a big thank you goes out to Matt Gill, Jimmy Walker, and Brian Quinn for the last 3 games, getting 3 wins for Ipswich Town, putting them back into this promotion race. If the rumours are true and they took over the last 2 games under the previous management, I'm still not going to mention his name because if we do that, we'll be like Mick McCarthy all over again. His name. Oh no, well done. But Paul Cook, he was in attendance. He was watching in the stands. You could hear him if you had the Well, you can hear him if you had the home commentary on, but you could definitely hear him if you had the away commentary on. Absolutely nothing. No filter whatsoever. Brilliant guy he is. He's watching the stands. It looks like he's made a very good impression on the side already. He met the team and the coaching staff at the hotel, I think a few hours before the game. I think he had quite a lot. Apparently, he had an hour-long chat with Matt Gill and Jimmy Walker before the game, apparently, at the hotel, which I guess shows promising signs. It looks like they will be staying into his new coaching staff, and then meeting his side, and then as the entrances are coming out of the tunnel, giving them all fist bumps, which I think is good to see. We haven't seen that in a long time. Some refound confidence in the side for that. But as the game got on, he got into gear, shouting instructions, very fiery, I think we can say, with calling. I think what we could say without using his colourful language that he used, cheating for one of the acting players who blatantly, I think we could say, dived, and he
pathetic dive.
Oh yeah, he did not like that one bit at all. He absolutely well into motivated the players. But Dan, promising signs already. But does he face a dilemma with his first starting lineup for Saturday? Because this squad here that played on Tuesday, that was their 3rd game in a row, third game in a week. He looked a little bit tired in the second half, very defensive. I think if you had the away control on, you could hear him shouting, we need to be higher, we need to be pressing them, stop sitting back. But this is a show that he's going to have to make changes into his first new lineup here, because a lot of these players are going to be absolutely shattered. And also as well, with him being this fiery, that it's nice to see a breath of fresh air and quite a lot of honesty here, because this is something we're not seeing in a long time. We're not seeing the manager motivate these players like this.
No. We saw it a little bit when Lambert came in, but he wasn't even our manager really yet, was he? Well, he was, but he wasn't actually in charge, and he was already shouting stuff from the sidelines. So it was really good to hear, and it seems like the passion's there already for the club, which us as fans we love to see. So yeah, some encouraging signs, and the fact that he's able to talk to Matt Gill and for that long, and probably talk about what he's planning to do with the squad, and yeah, it's some really good signs. The fact that we played a lot of games, I think we should expect some changes. I think you're right going into games against Gillingham. As you said, it's been a busy week or so, hasn't it? There's been game after game, so there's going to be changes have to be made. There's going to be some tired players, so I'm not expecting too many changes. It's not going to be like Lambert probably would change about 7 players at once. And I don't think it's going to be that much, but I think there'll be some changes for Saturday because, yeah, as you said, it's players can't play Tuesday, Saturday every single week, can they? They're going to get tired. So, yeah, maybe that's a little bit of a dilemma for him, but let's hope that he brings the squad together for the game against Gillingham because it's going to be a tough game. But let's see how it goes.
You've just broken one of the rules that we set, not to mention the previous management's name, and you just mentioned it in that sentence.
I wasn't thinking.
So I'll let you all hook. If it was if it was about 6 months down the line, then I'll be going. But it's fine. But Ipswich Town, as you mentioned there, are on the road this week. Paul Cook's first game in charge of Ipswich Town. They're looking for their 4th win in a row, and they play Gillingham, who have had a mixed bag of results quite recently, but they did fight back to get 3 points the last time out. Dan, not an easy game for Paul Cook for his first game in charge of this town, looking to continue this winning run. But Gillingham, with the matches previous, they have been kind of fiery on the touchlines, I think we can say, with the previous management and Steve Evans. But will Gillingham build on this recent win they got here? Or will Town try and keep this promotion run going?
Yeah, as you said, it's going to be a really tough game. It's not easy going there. Steve Evans, we know how he sets up his teams. We know what he says afterwards after every single game as well. But it is going to be a tough game, and I'm not expecting it to be an easy one. They are mid-table, but they know how to grind out results. So I want us to go there and put in a performance. We need to put in a performance. I'm feeling confident, after the last 3 games, and I think we need to keep winning games if we're going to push for playoffs this year. We can't slip up. So I think it's going to be a tough game, and I think it's going to be a really close one. But I'm going to say a 2-1 win to Town. Another win, prediction of a win. But yeah, we need to be on our game because Steve Evans knows how to set up a team, and Gillingham, they've got some good players in their squad. So we have to be on it.
Yes, well, interesting thoughts there from Dan. Dan there on his match prediction 2-1 to Ipswich Town. What do you guys think? Do you think he'll end 2-1 to Ipswich Town? Let us know on Twitter at Pitchside Talk what your score prediction is for Ipswich Town as this week. Well, that's all the Ipswich Town news covered for the time being until something major happens, like a takeover.
Maybe.
Or let's not go into that. That's a different kettle of fish for another day. I might have just thrown the cat amongst the pigeons for a little bit.
Okay.
But when we come back, we're going to be talking about the Premier League. We've had matches coming on as thick and fast this week. And let's see what's happened.
The best place in Ipswich to hear the latest football debates, Pitchside Talk on IO Radio.
Hello and welcome back to Pitchside Talk here on IO Radio's Fridays at 5 p.m. with me, George and Dan. As always, now before we move on into the next section of the show, talking about the Premier League. If you want to listen back to any of our previous shows on our I've mucked up here. Social media promotion, sorry. I've gone completely wrong. Twitter is at Pitchside Talk, Instagram Talk_pitch, YouTube Mixcloud, both at Pitchside Talk. If you want to listen back to any of our previous shows, I've got that right now. And if you want to see any additional content, we do match previews for all the Premier League games, Ipswich Town games, and Champions League games this season. And if you want to see any additional content like breaking news stuff, when we talked about the previous management and Paul Cook coming into charge, you can find them on our YouTube channels. Now, the Premier League matches has been coming thick and fast on us this week. More twists and turns in the race for Europe. A breakaway leader is now finally confirmed in the Premier League, and the scrap for survival has been taking another turn from these results this week. But I want to just jump straight into this if we can. Manchester City are the biggest winners this week. Pepper said they come through hell and done something more than remarkable. He has said at his side achieved a 21 winning game streak through a tough winter schedule. They haven't even lost a game in 2021. They haven't even drawn a game in 2021. Dan, this is absolutely bonkers, I think you can say. They beat Wolves 4-1. You're now 14 points now clear at the top of the Premier League. At the moment, no side can stop Manchester City here.
No, the run is absolutely incredible, isn't it? They're just too good at the moment. And as I've said before on previous weeks, it's a massive turnaround from what it was at the start of the year. And yeah, no team can get near them at all. And beating Wolves 4-1, another really good result for them. I don't think anyone can argue that anyone else is going to win the league title now. I think it's over. It's too late for anyone. And if Man City keep this form up, it's not going to change anytime soon, is it? So I think we've got our new Premier League winners, which won't please you, I don't think, but you can't deny it, really, can you? So yeah, they're just too good, and I can only see this run going on longer if they keep playing like this.
Yeah, well, I think they are deserved Premier Champions. So, I did make a comment, I remember, off one of the records. I said, whoever leads this by the beginning of the Champions League sort of stages will be Premier League champions, and they are Premier League champions. I don't see anything I'll catch up to. But we have got two big losers this week. Yeah, we haven't got many winners. We've got two big losers this week. Manchester United, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer described his side needing to find a spark again after 3 goalless draws now in a row. First in Europa League, I think it's against Real Sociedad, but they had won that game 4-1 already in the first leg. Then next was Chelsea, where Manchester United probably had the best chances in that game. And then Crystal Palace. Dan, 2 poor results here in the league by Manchester United stands, we could say here. Should Man U be a little bit concerned about these results carrying into the next 2 games with the pack sort of chasing up here for the top 4 places? Had a good chance to break away from other sides. A little bit concerned here.
Yeah, I think I'd be a little bit concerned. We all know the stat. We've seen a lot of places tweeting about it that they can't score against the top sides. A lot of the games against top sides have ended 0-0, haven't they? So, I think these results keep coming, and I think it's getting worrying now. Leicester, they're not doing too well themselves. I think they haven't won in their I think actually no, they beat Aston Villa, didn't they? So they lost to Arsenal. But yeah, they haven't picked results up in their last 2 games, but they're still only a point behind. So they've caught up to them. So I think it's a worry, and they need to start getting wins again because teams behind them are catching up. But it doesn't help that they got Man City next, does it? No. A team that are so in form that's unbelievable, isn't it? So yeah, tough game against Man City. Can't see them getting a result in that. So I think it's going to be another game that they lose points in. But yeah, they need to look past that and look at the games that they can pick up points, because they need to do it quickly.
Yes, we'll have to wait and see if they can do it quickly. They have to see if they can end this top 6 voodoo they've got at the moment. They can't beat anybody in the top 6. But another side that lost the biggest this week is Leicester, as Dan sort of mentioned there. A very difficult week, I think we can say, for Leicester. They dropped all 3 points against Arsenal despite winning that 1-0 in, I think, the first 5 minutes. And then getting a key injury to Harvey Barnes, who's now out for 6 weeks with a knee problem. He joins James Maddison on the sidelines and James Justin as well. And all the other players that Leicester have on the sidelines. And then they got a point against Burnley. They failed to capitalise on Manchester United's poor results this weekend. And with more injuries being picked up by Brendan Rodgers' side, could this be a bit of a problem for them with the chasing pack coming into this top 4 battle at the moment?
Yeah, I think it's probably a concern for them as well. Sorry, I kind of ruined your
That's
the
fine. No,
Leicester
no.
part of this in the last one, but
No, that's fine.
yeah, I think they need to be a little bit concerned as well. I think this has been a theme with Leicester, hasn't it? When they got a chance to kind of pull away from the teams behind them and be in a really good position, they can't quite get the results over the line. We've seen them go on really good runs and then lose silly games. Like I think they went on a really good run earlier on and lost to Leeds at the end of it, and it's happened again. Going up against Arsenal and losing that, and then drawing to Burnley. So I think they still have enough to pick up wins, and I think they'll be fine. But they do need to keep tabs on the teams behind them and see, keep looking at that gap and thinking that we need to get results because, it's getting close to the end of the season now. There's still time for teams to catch them up, of course, but it's getting close to the end of the season. They need to keep winning.
Yes, it'll be interesting to see what happens there with Leicester. Well, that is everything for our Premier League roundup this week. For just let you know, we have got more games coming up this weekend on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. But don't worry, we've got you covered. If you head over to the Pitchside Talk channel this evening, you can see the previews for the Saturday games, the Sunday games, and the Monday games for this week. Well, that's everything there for the Premier League. But when we come back, we might, I don't know yet. I'm not too sure on the times here. We might have a little bit more time for a football roundup if the referee just allows us a little bit of extra time here.
Pitchside Talk, footy debate from the Premier League Outback.
Hello and welcome back to Pitchside Talk here on iRadio's Fridays at 5 p.m. with me, George, and Dan as always. Now, Dan, we've got a little bit of extra time to do a football roundup. The fourth official's given us a few minutes, and I hear you want to go first this week, so take it away.
Yeah. So some Ipswich Town news in our football roundup this week. As most Ipswich fans will know, yesterday we all got an email in our inbox from the club, and it was a statement from the one and only Marcus Evans. Some of the stuff he said in there was, I'm not going to say on the show, but one of the big things is he said that the club hasn't had any offers for the last 12 months, and he isn't looking to sell the club, which is some interesting developments considering, the rumours that are going around at the moment are looking inevitable. So I think Ipswich fans are trying to decide whether he's, lying to us or it's actually not on. But time will tell. That's all we have to do. We have to be patient and see what happens.
Yeah. Oh God. It's like a soap drama. This is. I can't keep up.
Isn't it?
It's a bit crazy. Well, I've got some positive news for you. Coventry City, currently in the Championship, 20th. They don't play their games at their home arena of the Recog Arena. Well, they are finalising a deal to return back to that stadium for next season. Yes, they are finalising a deal with the people that own it at the moment, which is the Premiership Rugby Union side Wasps. They're finalising a deal to go back to their home stadium. So finally, they can play at the home stadium instead of in Birmingham, which I think is good to see because it's been quite interesting that they got drawn Birmingham in the FA Cup last season, and Birmingham fans have to sit there in the away end of their own stadium here.
Yeah, that's weird. Some good news though.
Yeah, good news. They've had quite a lot of tough times recently, but to be finally going back to their stadium for a club that's got so much history, we can say a lot of history behind this club. It's good to see because we don't see a club struggling like this. They're a good club. They might return to the Premier League one day if they get their cards lucky.
Yeah.
We'll have to wait and see. Well, that is everything for today's show. We've made it to the end. The referee's about to blow his whistle for full time. Dan, thank you very much for being on the show today. A very positive show. I think this is probably the first positive show we've had in a very long time.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
God,
Yeah.
maybe ever.
Yeah, because Paul Lambert was, sorry, he was
Yeah.
still here this time last week, wasn't he? So
He was. Oh gosh, this is crazy how football can change so quickly. Well, what have we got coming up after us? We've got the Gap Year show 6 until 7, the Reba show 7 till 9, and Flip the Switch 9 until 10. And if you want to follow us on any of our social medias, please do. Twitter at Pitchside Talk, Instagram talk_pitch, YouTube, Mixcloud, both at Pitchside Talk. If you want to listen back to any of our previous shows or even listen, if you missed anything, don't worry. It'll be out in a few minutes' time on the YouTube Mixcloud. And we do some additional content on there, like match previews for every Premier League game, Ipswich Town game, and Champions League game this season. Well, I've been George. He's been Dan as always. We'll see you next week, and ciao.
bye.
The whistle has been blown for full time. Tune in next week for another jam-packed show.